So here we are. It's the evening of the second day of the December,
No,
the January 2021.
December's gone, babes.
It's gone. That year went, that month went, but here we are again.
And it
Um,
hasn't got better.
no, it's probably got decidedly worse. However, let's talk about more positive things, although
Yes.
I will drink to that. We are here to chat about a book that Haya and I have recently read. Here it is, The Invisible Life of Addie Larue.
Addie.
Haya, I'll let you start us on this
Fair
one.
enough. I am
Yeah.
This is my thing.
It's your-
I love historical fiction, which
I
is also
know.
fantasy. And this spoke to me on many levels, and I loved it. And I did pick it as one of my top 10 of the year for that reason, and that I really became totally engrossed in the story, and I loved the characters. I travelled with them, and what I really liked is that the story put a spotlight on the fact that a girl did not have autonomy over her life choices, which so many women don't have still, and historically didn't. And I think we have to be very, very careful to also realize the importance of context. And I think the author did that very well, that in this, almost 17th century France, they didn't have social media or imagery books. The absolute strength of the church and their beliefs was overwhelming. So I really felt her desperation, that when she didn't want to marry the man that she was in essence being forced to in a nice way, she prayed to the gods and then prayed to the god of darkness, and that was like the final frontier of desperation for her. And I really felt the author highlighted that beautifully, and I loved traveling through time. I thought the way that was formulated worked very well.
No,
And I
I
loved it.
was sort of saying, I think when I finished this and gave it to you, I said that it really reminded me of, well, it was sort of a time traveler's wife meets Meet Joe Black, when Brad Pitt
Yes.
was at his best looking, in my opinion, meets that show on Netflix called You, with the guy from Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
And in my mind, Henry was that guy from Gossip Girl. Like, that's who I saw when I read this book. I think that V.E. Schwab brilliantly evokes a real sense of place, and the way she created France and then New York, and Addie moving between those two times. I think she did it brilliantly, and there wasn't any point where I didn't really believe it. I actually I went with that. I went with the flow, and I felt completely immersed in it. So I think she did a great job, and I think it's a beautifully written book.
And how hot is Lucifer?
Yeah, come on. He's the standout character. I felt that too. To be honest, I mean, Addie was fine, but for me, he was the standout. Listen, while we're here, because I know
We're dishing the tea.
Listen, we've both talked about this. This book has been so widely praised, acclaimed, posted about, reviewed, which is why we have picked it up and read it.
But
however, listen, I have to mention that there was a point that I took issue with, on page 302 to be precise. I'm not going to pull it out, and I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. However, there is a part where, in essence, it is said that the front cover of Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel, which is one of Haya and my all-time favourite books, it features a poppy and not a rose. Now, this isn't just a passing comment, it's actually quite a critical...
a whole paragraph.
It's a whole paragraph, and it's all to do with the fact that it's all to do with why people are being particularly nice to Henry, why they're agreeing with everything he says, why they think he's right, and it's all linked to this. And the fact is, it is incorrect. Now, I am someone who spots flaws. We have a joke in my family how I'm a bit like Claire, the mother from Modern Family. Like, I always see the issues that are not quite right, which is probably why I was an editor and I'm always able to pick up on any typos. But this isn't a typo. For
No.
me, this did take away from my enjoyment of the book, to be honest with you. And I think that it clearly didn't bother anyone else, but I have to be honest, it did take away the enjoyment for me. So there we go.
Come on,
And
Sophie.
I have to say, it bothered me so much that I actually messaged my friend Robert, who I used to work with, who is Hilary Mantel's editor, so that he could verify that it actually was wrong.
I mean, it is a Tudor Rose, and I understand why, as an editor, that means so much to you. And I have to say, as a reader who loved the book, when you pointed it out to me, and I think I was so engrossed in the story that I was like, oh, and it's not just one line as well. It's like the focus of almost an entire page, you know, because it's that dialogue with the other character, and then this is the book they're searching for. So I do think that it should be pointed out. And listen, it's historical fiction and it should be accurate. So I do think that I understand why it bothered you as much as it did, particularly with your professional background. I still have to say that it was one of my favourite books to read for a very long time, just because it's just so my thing.
I totally get that.
What I found beautiful, I wonder if you'd agree, is that, and I'm not to ruin it for anyone that hasn't read it, but actually there's quite a mental health focus, and then there's a really hopeful ending. And I found that really uplifting and quite beautiful.
I thought it was a brilliant ending. It wasn't what I necessarily expected.
Yes.
I think it could have been very cliche, and it wasn't. And I think it really worked, and it kind of left it open for what might happen next.
And it was edgy. The ending was edgy. There was almost her taking back power and control, and then the hopefulness that evoked as well for others. And I just thought that was really, really well done. So I really did like it, but I wonder if we should potentially try and obtain a response to see whether this was maybe something that was done purposefully. I don't know. Maybe it's an acute Americanism that people call this a poppy. I don't know. Is this a poppy? No, it's not.
It's not a poppy, it's a Tudor Rose, damn it. Anyway, I'm sure most people will really enjoy it.
It's a beautiful book.
That's how I'm going to leave it on that one.
It's a beautiful, beautiful book, which is deserving of the praise that it has been given. And I loved it, but yes.
It's not a poppy.
The editor is here to stay.
Enjoy it. Happy reading.
Happy reading.